Hello, Chat Automation podcast listeners. Welcome back to another deep dive into the techniques that convert leads. I'm your host, Casey Arias, and I'm joined here today by our local Five9 and call center expert, Stephen White, and Vic Sun, the man himself. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending. I always appreciate you being here. So let's talk a little bit today about system integration and cool tech. Also, I very highly recommend that if you're watching this on video or listening to audio, we have a new channel automation feature announcement, so stick around to the end if you want to hear about that. To start off, we want to talk about Facebook, Instagram, social media integration into channel automation, and in general, just having everything going into one place. So let's ask a very generic question to start. What is the benefit of having Facebook and Instagram chat connections not staying within their own realm, like all of it going into one hub where people can all answer any kind of incoming chat messages?
Yeah, I'll take that. So in many industries, when they buy Facebook leads or Instagram, they use Facebook and Instagram to generate these leads. What they end up doing is they have an agency or they have a lead generator essentially send them these leads. So it's usually in a form. So you're on Facebook, they set up an ad campaign, you start seeing it, a user sees it on Facebook, they start typing down their information, filling out a lead form. They send them to a landing page outside of Facebook. And so you'll lose conversion there because now you're sending them outside of the platform that they were in. And then once you fill out the form, it gets sent over to your CRM, whether it's Lead Perfection, which we have a partnership with, MarketSharp, i360, Salesforce, whatever, right? Then from there, here's a typical thing that a lot of companies do. They now start, if they have their dialer like Five9, which Stephen can elaborate on a little bit if he wants, it's going to start calling those things from an ASAP, right? And then if they don't get a hold of them, most of them they don't get a hold of, they leave a voicemail. And then if you have a platform like text and email, whether it's us or a competitor, text and emails goes out. Now, here's where you also lose conversion because you're talking about somebody who was on Facebook. You took them out of Facebook to fill out a form, okay? Now they filled out a form. They didn't call you. They could have. They didn't. They filled out a form. And then now you're calling them. So between the lead being produced digitally where they're filling out a form and the company now trying to call you because they want to convert on you, those pieces of the journey start to build this case against that conversion. And so what you end up getting is this really poor conversion, or at least not the very best conversion that you can get. So how does our system differ from everybody else? And we'll post a link to a video and you can do a demo with us. But our system has Facebook and Instagram integration. We have Google My Business, WeChat, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram. But for specifically for this instance, Facebook and Instagram, you're on channel automation. Once that lead comes through, you can directly communicate with the customer as soon as they interact with your ad from within Messenger in Facebook. You're not even taking them outside of it. Now, to some of you guys, you might be thinking, okay, that's cool. They're on Facebook. Facebook will reward you because you're not taking their users outside of their platform. But here's another thing that a lot of you guys are not realizing. What are the times that you can convert on Facebook or Instagram leads via text or phone call? Well, you can only call them and text them between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You'd have to check that depending on the state where you are. What if you get a lead what you get somebody interacting with your ad at 10 p.m. at night or midnight? Let's say at midnight. Your call center is closed. You can't text them. You can't call them. You can't leave them a voicemail. You can email them. But here's the thing. If those people filled out something, interacted with your ad, and you can't call them, text them, or leave them a voicemail, you're going to have to wait 8 hours because you got this at midnight. 8 hours have passed, and this person is not being contacted. With our system, you can do all of those things, but here's the difference. Right at 12 midnight, our automation will continue to speak to that customer right on Messenger and convert on them automatically. Meaning, without a human, because it's midnight, unless you have agents from overseas that can do that, you can do that too in our system. But if there's no agents, our system will continue to converse with the customer and ask them, What time would you like to schedule an appointment? Here's a video that explains what needs to be done. It can ask them questions. It can convert. It can confirm appointments automatically. Then, once 8 o'clock swings by, if you guys want to go and call them, guess what? Now you have an appointment scheduled with that customer, and now you can give them a call and try to confirm it verbally if you want to. This piece right here is the one thing that you will have as a competitive advantage over everyone else if and when you use our system. But it boggles me how people who buy thousands, or in some cases, we're really large companies, millions of dollars worth of leads for Facebook ads, Instagram, they don't understand that the reason they're not at 50, 60, 70% lead to set conversion is because that user journey that I went through is causing, it's not correlative, it's causing those issues. Because not only are you taking the user who saw your ad outside of the platform, now you're insisting that they get a phone call, you leave a voicemail, right? And then secondarily, you've got text, maybe some email automation, not that great, right? Mostly copy, no videos like what we do. And you expect them to go and convert. I think that right there is a simple way of addressing that issue so you could lift your conversion automatically. I mean, because I would bet dollars to donuts with all the customers that we've had, if you move to our system and you're communicating 24/7, you're going to get, at the very minimum, a 1% increase every single day. That's like one more appointment that you've never had using your current system versus ours.
Yeah, and I think I want to add one additional thing that one feature that you touched on but didn't elaborate on that could be another tool in the toolbox besides using the actual messenger within the Facebook platform. We are able to automate engagement based on comments made on your platform. So let's say someone's visiting your page and you have there's, let's say, some testimonial or a before and after, and someone will engage with that in some way. Our platform can also engage with that person, encourage engagement, and then follow up with them the next day once let's say they've left the platform or they've gone to another, let's say, 11 p.m. They go, oh, that's an interesting story. What's going on here? Or like they have how much does something like that cost, right? That's a key one. I think a lot of window shoppers will ask. We can detect that intent and then engage them in a specific way that will help with the conversion of that person or help us to capture their information, beginning that process of creating a lead that would have otherwise just been someone passing by your booth at a home show or just someone that was just kind of interested in the moment, but maybe not willing to go through the process, the higher level of engagement of actually filling out a lead. That beginning of that conversation where they first make that comment, if you begin that by engaging back with them, that's a lead that you would have otherwise missed. Once the people do log in from the call center or your team who's handling these on the back end, they're not going into they don't have to log directly into your Facebook like your marketing manager would to engage with this person who hasn't even been trained on conversion, honestly. Because why would you train your marketing manager on conversion? The call center can handle it. They've been trained on this. They know how to go about these rebuttals in an effective way, right? They're going to be the ones that are going to see it because it'll be on channel automation.
I'm just kind of putting this into perspective. What you have right now, if you are engaging with Facebook chat, is the Facebook default messenger. It's just what is going out automatically from Facebook. So if you don't program anything at all on Facebook chat and somebody engages with you, Facebook will automatically send a message that says, thanks for talking to company name. Somebody will be with you shortly to answer your question. And that's all they're getting. Now, if you actually do go in and you customize your Facebook chat, the only things that you can really do is send them plain text. And you have to be on Facebook chat in order to see the interaction happen. And so having it externally connected to something like channel automation, being able to add in the video messages, follow-ups, sequences, it's a big difference.
You know what just dawned on me is that lots of people don't understand that because traditionally lots of companies will simply buy the leads and it gets sent to them through email to their CRM, not realizing that there's a way to go and do the ads right on Facebook, so that's on Messenger. And then with Steven's point, That's actually another way. So saving money, right? You can do posts, and posts are free. And when people comment on it, it's like you're fishing with dynamite, because now you're like getting all these people who are following you, asking questions if you got an engaging post. And then you can go and respond 24/7 using Channel Automation's Facebook integration. You're right on there. The automation will go and give them videos, buttons, automation and scheduling, confirming. We have all of these in place. And the one thing that, because lots of people will be like, okay, well, lead cost, what is this? People don't realize it's free. Like, if you had 1 million text messages this year that you're sending out because you've bought, let's say, 1 million Facebook leads, okay, you're spending money on those text messages. So if an average text message is worth a penny, right, you multiply that by 1 million, you would save all that money simply by going on Facebook or Instagram, or rather a Channel Automation, because those conversations would be free. It's unlimited. You can have as many text messages or chat messages on Facebook Messenger or on Instagram and pay zero. Whereas if you send 1 million text messages, you'd spend what, $10,000? That's what it costs, right? For 1 million, for a penny. So you'd save that money. Okay, you'd save that money automatically each year, and you'd be able to do it 24/7. So going into my analogy about e-commerce companies, why they do the best at it, because e-commerce companies, especially the ones that have just started, they have to rely on social media. They have to rely on people telling them, hey, what is it? What is this? They ask a lot of questions on the Facebook or Instagram pages, and then that's how they convert. It's really the exact same model. The difference is, I think many industries have not adopted to that. They think Facebook ads and basically just getting the leads is what they need to rely on. What they need to rely on is the fact that if I'm a Facebook user and if I'm interested in there, I want to stay on Facebook. I want to have those conversations on Facebook. I want to see other users engaging that post. I want to see comments. I want to see questions being answered. You know what I mean? And I think that's the point there, that many companies, if you're just thinking, well, what's the other cost to this particular platform? If you're sending about 1 million, we've automatically saved you 10 grand by not just relying on text. We do have text. We're omni-channel. We have text, email, IVR, social, web, live chat, all of these things. But when you tap into the Facebook, Instagram integrations, you do not need to go anywhere else. You got 24/7 scheduling. And on top of that, you save thousands of dollars as opposed to waiting 8 hours from midnight, if you get the lead there, to go and start sending your text messages, phone calls, voicemails, what have you.
All right. So if you have any more questions about Facebook or Instagram or social media connections and what Channel Automation can do in terms of being able to make that advanced messaging something that's a little bit better than what you got going on right now, like Vic said, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're already using Channel Automation, it's one of those things that's very easy to connect, and you can save a lot of money using the Facebook chat, using the Google My Business chat, having those available to be able to talk to them on the platform they've reached out to you on. It's something that we can set up very easily, and it's something that you can get very quick lift on. Like, those leads are free, basically. They come to you, and it's something that we can easily convert on. I do want to switch gears a little bit too, because we always talk about digital, and how to get better technology. Now let's talk about old school marketing. What about for people who are trying to get better lift in their events or in their face-to-face marketing? Like, what can you do? What can Channel Automation do? That is going to be something that nobody else is doing. That's going to be more enticing to the competitors that are out there doing the exact same thing.
Well, we have a couple different ways we can engage with folks at the events. And one of the ways that we do that is through using QR codes. I know that they're very popular since COVID. We had a lot of no-touch menu. So for menus, right, you had to come into the restaurant. Everyone had to learn how to use a QR code. They saw this weird sequence of squares and white squares, black squares. It's kind of weird looking. It said, scan me. You're like, what am I scanning? Do I need to get like the Xerox? Do I need to get like a Xerox machine? What's going on? Older folks are a little upset at the whole thing. I want a regular menu, you kids and your technology. I had to teach my grandma how to use this stuff. It was a little challenging, but I think over time, everyone kind of got used to it. This is the new regular. There seems to be a QR coded menu available. Always saves costs for the restaurants because they don't have to print price changes since prices have been changing so much. They can just change it on digitally. They don't have to worry about new ink for the new 10 cents more, 20 cents more, whatever. I digress. The thing I wanted to get at is this technology where you scan with your phone, your personal device, and it'll lead you to something. Right now, we're talking about menus, but if you're at an event and you walk by a booth and you see a scannable thing, which has become more and more available, I think the scannable code, if it's visible from a distance, you're losing out on the opportunity to get in close and personal with folks who are there. They can scan it from across the way. They never have to get close enough to even talk to you, really. Yes, it's convenient. They can do it on their own device, but then we're missing out on actually engaging with this person in a meaningful way. One thing that we've been developing on our team that could be a more effective way, maybe you've done this in case you've ever used Apple Pay, which is an NFC token, NFC just being a near-field communication. The technology behind it is it's possible to set up a custom location for those scanned tokens. One thing we've worked on is a way for you to directly connect to a form or even directly connect to reviews after the end of an event or after the end of your, let's say you finish an install and you want to complete, you'd have one of these NFCs maybe just on the clipboard for your team. Say, hey, just put your phone near this real quick. I can give us a review. Very, very simple. They don't have to pull up their phone app and look at the camera and point at it. It's a little blurry. The lighting's not right. They have to click on it. It's a hassle to deal with the QR code.
Can you show us what it looks like so that the audience, the ones who are on YouTube, the ones in the podcast won't see it, but for the ones who will watch us on TikTok or YouTube or on LinkedIn?
I have one right here. Let me bring it up. Here's an example.
So they actually look like little circles, which is what Stephen's showing on the screen right now. But I also bought some too because I was curious about it. Inside of the little circles, and you can get these tons of them for very, very cheap on Amazon, or inside's a little teeny tiny chip that your phone reads. Smartphones already can do it.
The cool thing about it is once we've gotten a chance to program this out to connect to channel automation, you can make this so that if your team, for whatever particular reason, you can directly connect to like a form or a landing page, a website. And that way, someone that's just walking by with their cell phone, if they touch the back of this to the back of your phone, it's going to automatically open up the website and allow you to then direct them to the form that they can fill out and then finish that project or finish the form, and you can convert on that lead.
Part of that is, I think what we'll do is for one of our blasts. And so if you guys are interested in kind of demoing this firsthand, reach out to us. But Stephen's making a really good point as to why we started thinking about this new innovative way of engaging. So whether you're a canvasser, a showroom promoter, an event promoter, a home show promoter, people who go to these events, or whether you have a trailer at Home Depot or BJ's or Costco or something like that, you always have these agents or promoters, brand ambassadors. And if they're relying on a QR code, lots of people are kind of getting to that point where, you'll go to an event, you get to a place, there's so many QR codes, and they go like, I don't want to do that. And Stephen made a good point about some people that go, their hands are really shaky, or they'll go point it and it's like, how come the link's not showing up? You know what I mean? This is a very easy way, because all you have to do at this point is tap it to your phone, get close, have a conversation and say, hey, just go ahead and do this. And now it's accessing that form, that particular video. I mean, we can link this. We can even link it to Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is that you feel your audience, your prospect, or your user is going to be more likely to be able to use. One thing that I think our audiences might want to see on a personalized demo, and we'll push some content on this through our social networks, is that we can actually go and have people do the NFC, create a deep link, and then accesses their native text messaging. And then you go opt in, and then they opt in with their name, and then right away you got the phone number. So right away you get leads. There is an automation and there are cadences to that we have that we build out for people. It's mind-boggling how people still go and do the traditional way of, here's a QR, go to this website, fill out this long form, and not think about like, well, how can I just get the phone number and maybe the email and do it quickly and then send them videos and stuff? Because that's easiest, that's better. people are still using the QR code, but then using their old school way of generating the leads when they can easily just go access the mobile texting app from whatever phone, Android or iOS or iPhone, and get them to opt in, and then go ahead and ask them for their email or their name, because at that point you have the phone number already. You know what I mean? You just ask for the phone number without asking for it because you're accessing the text. So I think that piece right there, Stephen, you were the person who is, spearheading this innovative thing that we were talking about. How much time and effort will it take for a canvassing team, a showroom, an events team to kind of set something up like this where all their agents will have some small little token like that? Like, in your opinion, like, just based on what we've seen, because this is pretty new that we're doing, how fast can somebody get that thing stood up?
So let's say this person already has channel automation. We've already programmed our system so that when we have a cadence even program. Well, if they don't have those things first, it's going to take some time for us to plan out how you want your text cadence to go. Do we want them to scan and then it says send your text message to, like, text your name into this location? Then it begins the conversion process with them. Sometimes there's content there that we may want to program. There's other things like that may want to be done. If we have everything already set up, it may take a week for us to go through, program these tokens, and then distribute them to the team in a meaningful way where they have this, maybe it's just on the back of on their handout or their flyer. It's just like, maybe it's laminated into their handout that they're kind of showing people on the fly, where it's like, hey, I have a quick question. They show them the vanilla thing. And if you're interested, just hold your phone up to the corner here. And then they just go, boop.
I would do the same. I mean, if I've gone through events, and if I can't get somebody to do the QR code, even if it's there, I would be like, you want to see something cool? Just get them something cool, and like, just wave your phone here. Wave. Something that just gives them to go and like, why? What's going to happen there? What have you seen in terms of conversion? If I had 100 people walking by, and let's say 20% of them, 20 people out of 100 will do the QR code. What about the 80 people? How many of them would actually go and say, yeah, I'll go wave my phone, or I'll have my phone out and kind of do that thing and start walking away or whatever? Like, what have you seen? Because we've done this for our own events.
The cool thing about this technology, since it's so new and there's a lot of people that aren't taking advantage of this, especially promoters. Everyone's really in the stone age of promoting where they're trying to hand us something. I know how to ignore stuff with my hands quite easily. And you're not capturing anything by handing out a flyer. If we're talking about that other 80, we're talking about, I would say, an additional 200%, maybe another 40 out of that 100. So half. I would say half of if we're talking from 100, we have 20 that converted, and then there's another 40 that are available, usually on average.
And Casey, I think our team, just talking about this podcast right here, you guys should go and demo or maybe film that and show it to our audiences, maybe on a podcast or on socials, where we went to a convention in Vegas. We had booths, and I think there were 300 attendees. It wasn't necessarily the biggest event, and we picked up like 187. It was like over half the attendees we picked up as leads, because it was like fishing with dynamite. They would come in, boom, we'd pick up their phone numbers, or if they opt in, all of that good stuff. We had a promo where we were giving stuff away, and our system would automatically tell them, hey, it's 12 o'clock with a video, come by the booth. We're giving away that massage gun or whatever the giveaway was. And then people would just show up because they'd get that says, yeah, come back.
Right. That was key. For one of our demos we were running, we had an event where at a specific time, it would say, come back to the booth. Here, sign up for the raffle. The raffle's happening at 10 p.m. or 10 p.m. What am I talking about? 10 a.m. It was at noon. And once the raffle was about to happen, we were able to text out to those people through channel automation to say, hey, here, come back to the booth and check out our wares. For us, since we were demoing channel automation, it all made sense. Since we are the ones that send the automated text messages, it all just kind of flowed together. For like a bathroom project, come back for the raffle and we could talk about this, that, or the other. At least it's a way to get them back, to get them reinterested. You would have captured their information on the first go around for the initial giveaway, and then you can continue to contact them because they would have filled out their opt-ins and everything for a continuous marketing funnel over the next weeks or months, or however you set up your marketing.
I'm going to issue a challenge right now to, I know a lot of these companies, especially in home services, like I'm going to issue a challenge right now to Tony Hody, to Megan Beatty. to the Jacuzzi team, to some of these companies that do a lot of these events, but maybe they're not using this new system that we have, to the Yoho group, to the G4 guy, all of those guys. We will dominate with your systems, whatever you guys have in place with our technology. There is going to be a better lift. And I challenge you guys to do it, without our technology and with our technology, and to see how much more of a lift that you will get, because this is basically guaranteeing that all those people that you're not capturing using your systems right now, which is whether it's face-to-face, that QR code, or whatever promos or gimmicks that you guys have, all those other people that have a cell phone or that a mobile device, you'll be able to capture those people, and you'll be able to automate them coming back to your booth, following up through videos. So I'm issuing that challenge. Let's go ahead and post them on social media. Let's tag those guys, and let's see if they're willing to go use our technology and see how much more they can get in terms of improvement.
Interestingly enough, and I'm not going to get into detail about it, one of the primary users of this technology is Nintendo, and they do a pretty good job with it. And so if you are in doubt at all about what we're talking about, again, this is face-to-face marketing. Just think about, like, years ago when we were all talking about QR codes, right? We were just talking about it at the beginning, too. Literally, years ago, we were trying to do QR codes at an event, and everyone's like, no one's going to know what that is. No one's going to look at that. I'm telling you, like, we have a really, really good finger on the pulse of new technologies. This is going to be the next thing. And all those people doing the Apple Card stuff where they just tap to pay, what do you think they're using? It's the same business, right?
You guys talked about this, I think, like a year ago. We were talking about Switch and Universal Studios, the Super Mario Nintendo World. If you've ever been to Universal where they have the Super Mario World or Super Nintendo World, whatever you call them, that's what they do. But they have it where I think you have to buy like a watch, or then you have your phone, and then you go and do this, and then you play. That's what they do. But they're using the NFC to be able to access that and then, score points or whatever the case may be. It's not necessarily new technology. I think it's the technology now has gotten better, because now you can basically get them on Amazon for pennies. You can actually customize those tokens, can't you? Yeah, you can make them into like, I don't know, with a graphic image or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So you can do whatever you want as
our
far as
producer
customization.
is, by the way, nudging us right now on the side because he's a big Mario fan. Our producer, by the way, shout out to our producer. We love you, and we couldn't do this without you. He said, number 1, it's called Super Nintendo World. Number 2, those coins are also usable in Mario Kart 8. And number 3, I love you guys too.
Yeah.
Woo! But you don't have to only put it in cards. You don't have to only put it in your clipboards. You don't have to put it in your phones necessarily. This is where it gets really fun, especially if you're somebody like me who likes doing crafts. Think about really creative ways to utilize this. Like, what if you had like your little stuffed animal mascot sitting on your desk and like tap them on their head? Watch what happens. Like, get wacky.
I can demo this right now, by the way. So let me show you how easy it is on my phone right now. This is my phone. I'm gonna show you. Here it is. Here it is in my hand. We're this person. Hey, you want a review? Great. And we just finished your job. Hey, really quick, tap your phone to this, and we can write a review for us. Here you go. And then they have this, and I'm gonna just place it literally behind my phone, and it brings up a review page. Right. So there's our right there. Boom, done. You can write a review.
That's awesome.
Wow, tech magician. That joke would have been great if I actually said.
It's okay. We'll edit in post, or leave it completely as is, and then everyone can enjoy that.
So, guys, I mean, a lot of business owners, they're gonna see this. They're gonna be like, "What is that?" And the Tony Hoties. We're gonna tag you guys, Megan Beatty, those people in home services, the Yoho guys. They're gonna come up to us and they're gonna go like, "What is that?" I'm gonna take you up on your challenge. But I want to know cost. So let's talk just really quickly, because a lot of them are going to be like, that's the first thing they're going to say. Oh, it might be too expensive. What is the cost even for canvassing? Because I think a lot of this is useful for canvassing, because you can think about all kinds of use cases here, leaving it at the door, leaving it in an envelope, like putting it on a door hanger, whatever. What is the cost per token? Those little small things.
The cost per token? Well, I don't know. How many do you, I guess if you buy in bulk, it gets a little cheaper.
Yeah, let's say I bought 1,000. I'll buy 1,000 of these things. What would be the cost for these things?
It's like thinner than a penny. You see that? It's super thin. It's probably costs similarly, maybe like 30 cents per, maybe 40, 50 cents at max. But you can buy like thousands of these for literally like $40.
It's less than 40 cents then. It's probably closer to 4 cents. We won't hold the math against you. I mean, that wasn't your major or anything.
I'm pulling these from memory too. So I'm
so
not sure what
Are
the
you
current
telling
price
me
is.
that
Yeah.
you don't manufacture these yourself, Steven, and you have all of the prices in your head right now?
No,
If you Google this thing, if you go and Google, what's the average cost that you guys see, or on Amazon?
30 cents per right now for the small things. But you can get cards that are a little bit different, which are cheaper. No, are those more expensive or cheaper? 37 for like, you can get an actual card. Like if you wanted to make business cards where you do this with, which are a little bit more friendly on the promoter, where you're not losing your little token that you have if you just glue it to the side of your bottle or something.
I have one for Amazon for 1,000 of these, and I see multiple prices anywhere between, like, you're right, some is 20, some are 20 cents, and some are like 40 cents, depending on what packaging you're getting. So if I were to go and hit up, let's say I'm a canvasser or at an event, and there was 1,000 people in there, my average cost would be anywhere between just doing this $200 to, let's say, $400. And that means every single one of those guys will actually see a video, have a chance to interact and getting an appointment, like for pay-per-click, but it's like you're doing it face to face. So I think that's really cheap. I mean, for 20 to 40 cents per person as a cost, and let's pretend that you had to obviously, build out a system. But as you build your system, your messaging, your videos, the actual cost of the token itself is like 20, 40 cents. That's what you're tacking onto your lead cost at that point, or a prospect. I think it's really cheap. I mean, even if it was $1, if I go and say, hey, there's 100 people in here that would just pass by our booth and not scan that QR code, and I asked you, hey, if those 100 people didn't scan a QR code, give me $100, right? $1 each, and now you'll get at least 20 to 40 of them converting. Would you do it? I think that's a pretty good conversion. That's a pretty good cost for that.
And I do want to emphasize, you cannot just buy the entire system on Amazon for pennies on the dollar. You'd be buying the blank card. The programming is where we come into effect, right? You can't just buy a card and all of a sudden it does it, right? This is one of those things where you program it and then it becomes like a little magic tool. So that's something that Channel Automation can offer in terms of technology.
Are you saying they can't get this with the competitors? The competitors can't use these tokens? They have to use our service?
I mean, I guess I'm saying that. I don't know. Maybe not in those exact words. Maybe not in those exact words. Yeah. So anyways, I think that's going to be about it for us today, but we love talking new technology. And so please, if you would love to come on our podcast and continue the conversation with us, share some of what you have in mind in terms of like things that have worked for you. Or you're like, what about this? Can the thing you talked about do this? We want to hear from you. So go ahead and email us at hello@channelautomation.com. Leave comments, engage. We would really, really love it. All right. Also, please consider subscribing to this podcast and continue getting tips that is going to help conversion and your marketing campaigns overall. As always, keep your lead converting high.